Welcome back to the Miga's Koba channel, and we're finally talking about a manga. Ignore the background, I'm still coping. Maybe you shouldn't release a video at 10 just because you finished it at 10. Please leave me alone. Anyway, we're talking about Katekyo Hitman Reborn's first arc, the daily life arc. Let's roll that intro and get into it.
What's the next stage?
Katekyo Hitman Reborn follows the story of Tsuna Sawada, a boy who's hopeless at pretty much everything you can think of. You must really relate to that guy a lot, huh? Who told you to be part of the review segment of the video? I mean, I just thought since it's going to be a shorter one, just let me finish the story section at least. Anyway, despite Tsuna's ineptitude at pretty much everything, he's the next in line to be the leader of the Vongola Familia, the most powerful mafia family in Italy. To prepare him for this role, the mafia sent the titular Hitman Reborn into the ring, so that he can properly meet the requirements of his future role. Reborn also counteracts Tsuna's weakness with the Dying Will bullet, which is a bullet that will kill its user and then revive them in a state focused on their dying will, known as the Dying Will mode, which burns off all of Tsuna's clothes and sets part of his hair on fire. Yeah, this series is sorta weird. Anyway, this sets Tsuna off on his journey for better and for worse. But in the very next video in the series, we will be talking about this 14-year-old fighting mafia members with weird superpowers. We also gains a lot of friends along the way, so it sorta balances out. But for a shonen battle series, Hitman Reborn starts off kinda weird, being an entirely different genre to the point of being an arguable parody of the genre it would later become kinda weird. Mainly as it is like a pure comedy series at this point, with any of the elements that would be typical for the many different series it was serialized with during its run, mainly being play for jokes. For example, Tsuna's Dying Will mode is a play on a typical shonen transformation. The closest comparison I can think of is Yugi turning to Yami Yugi in Yu-Gi-Oh! Both transformations make the protagonist a lot stronger and more confident than their typical weak self. One of these is supposed to make our hero look cool, while the other literally puts our hero in his underwear. You even get this with apparent series fan favorite Kyohei Hibari, who, to use another Yu-Gi-Oh! Example, is similar to Kaiba in that series. Both of these men are crazy, but Kaiba's craziness is used as something that makes him stand out and look cool, while Kyohei is literally pointed out by the story itself to just be this massive weirdo maniac that no one in the series wants to deal with or come in contact with. I mean, this makes him cool too, but due to the story being told from a more grounded perspective, the actions of a man like this are looked at more harshly. But this comedy approach leads to a, while fun, rather episodic first 60 or so chapters. We meet them mainly just go over the characters here more than the overall story, mainly the ones that will play major roles in the next arc, and are major characters just overall, so we will not be mentioning people like Longchamp, a character who was so much of a bum that he was removed from the anime entirely. But getting back to the actual main characters, Tsuna Sawada, or Tsuna, is our story's main protagonist. He's a rather weak person, but this weakness gives a certain level of realness to him. He isn't some kid who wants to be some great person within society. He's just a normal kid who wants friends and girls to like him. He has no real interest in the mafia stuff since, like a normal kid, he thinks it's scary and immoral. At the same time, all this mafia stuff is why he now has all these friends around him, and is becoming slightly more confident as a person. His newfound success in life still comes from him. For example, his main ability, the Dying Will mode, is a representation of this, as Tsuna sees it as well, essentially the Yu-Gi-Oh! Thing, where an entirely other being takes over his body and is able to do all this cool stuff. But no, the Dying Will mode is only so effective because of Tsuna's strong desire to help people and be a good guy. Dying Will mode is not some excuse to have cool things happen in this manga, despite our protagonist being some sort of loser. It is instead a way to give his character depth by using a manifestation of the potential Tsuna has if he continues to grow past some of his weakness and self-doubt. All of that is why I like Tsuna as protagonist, as juxtaposition between this massive loser who wants nothing to do with the mafia, despite the mafia being the reason why he's amassed all these people he truly cares about, and the reason he gains such self-confidence and is able to become a better person, makes for a really fire dilemma, and I can't wait to see it continue on throughout the rest of these arcs. We then get to the enigmatic Reborn. We don't learn a lot about him, but he's cool. He's a troll type of mentor, teaching Tsuna and some of his other friends more through messing with them and making them come to their own conclusions on their own, instead of outright teaching them anything. Leaving a lot of intrigue about him outside of the fact that he looks like a child, but talks and acts like a grown man. We've already gotten to the GOAT, Hayatoko Kudera, Tsuna's self-proclaimed right-hand man. Honestly, he's probably my favorite character so far, mainly to like the juxtaposition between how much he wants to suck up to Tsuna, become his right-hand man, compared to how abrasive a person he is to like everyone else in the cast. Like with Tsuna, it's like he hypes him up all the time, but with everyone else, he be like super disrespectful, especially like Yamamoto. But this creates a character conflict with him. as he learns that Tsuna dislikes how Gokudera essentially comes off as the person in his friend group who cares about him the most with his mafia connections more than him as like an actual person. Where Gokudera actually does care about Tsuna as an actual person. Tsuna's like one of the first friends he's ever had due to his racist upbringing in Italy, where like people would judge him for being a half Japanese bastard child to his mafia fan. Honestly, this is the best arc setup. I'm really interested to see how it'll follow up on the next few ones. Also, he's one of the characters who's censored in the anime. As in the manga, you might have noticed from some of these pictures, he's a 14-year-old chain smoker who incorporates his SIGs into his fighting style of using sticks of dynamite to fight. Which is really cool to me, but can't really be shown in an anime that is still for children, a kid as young as Gokudera is supposed to be. So in like the anime, he essentially just has like pyrokinesis, which is about as cool, to be honest. Yamamoto is a baseball prodigy and a massive idiot with a good heart, believing that all this mafia stuff is a game they're just playing. Which you'd think would get annoying, but Yamamoto is such a cool guy, you don't mind how stupid he is. He's honestly Tsuna's closest friend so far, mainly as he's the most normal person you gotta deal with. Also, he gets a baseball bat that when he swings it really hard turns into a sword, which is another one of the cool unique fighting styles I love the series for. He's also another example of a character who was censored in the anime, as he shows up and becomes a member of Tsuna's friend group in the same story as Gokudera is properly introduced. Mainly due to the fact that his original appearance in the manga has him trying to end his own life after a fatal arm injury makes him not be able to play baseball potentially. Honestly, unlike Gokudera's change, I think this is kind of for the better to a degree. The idea of Yamamoto ever being so depressed that he would attempt to end his own life seems pretty out of character for him, at least to me. So to instead have him just become Tsuna's friend because he thinks he's cool after getting roped into Gokudera's shenanigans, which sets up not only his oblivious to the mafia stuff, but also his like one-sided rivalry with Gokudera, where Gokudera hates him because of the fact that like it's kind of obvious that Tsuna messes with Yamamoto more than Gokudera. It's just kind of like a better story choice, if anything, even though I really like that chapter that Yamamoto is introduced in the manga. Next up is Ryohei Sasagawa, but we're gonna go back to the thing about me saying the show is sort of a parody of some other anime tropes. Well, Ryohei is every super passionate sports anime protagonist to ever exist, as he's the leader and arguable sole member of their school's boxing club. He's just like very intense all the time. Bro is out here going to zoos to fight animals just to like improve his boxing skills. I love the intensity, to be honest. He doesn't really do much in this arc, or the next arc sadly, but he gets some fire moments later on, and he's already pretty cool. I already mentioned the leader of the school's disciplinary committee and town menace, Bari Kyoya. Like Ryohei, he doesn't do much, but he's cool because of how much of a menace he is. He picks fights with anyone and anybody. He does not care. Like bro is in the hospital and beating people up for fun. All of his signature catchphrase, "I'll bite you to death." No one stops him either because he's literally unbeatable. Only defeated once so far because of a character we'll talk about later, Poison. A detail that will be important next time. But other than that, his fight record is perfect. Honestly, I get why he's the fan favorite aside from his just generally cool design. I really like the type of poncho cape jacket thing bro got going on. Then we get to the weakest link, Lambo, who is just some bratty kid who got essentially banned by his mafia family and wants to become reborn and cries when he inevitably fails each time. He's just annoying until he uses the 10-year bazooka to become 15-year-old Lambo. But I kinda wish was in the show for his younger self, because he's actually cool, but this bazooka becomes important later on, so we tolerate young Lambo's existence for now. We then get the E-Pin, a Chinese martial artist, the same age as Lambo, and we can see her older form too. She's kinda superfluous, especially later on, but she isn't annoying like Lambo is, so that's a plus. Then we get to Tsuna's two love interests, sorta, Kyoko and Haru. Kyoko is just, think of every female love interest from anime, and you would get Kyoko. She ain't bad, but she's just whatever. The most interesting thing about her is the fact that she's technically the younger sister of Ryohei, but other than that, there's not much to say. Then you get Haru on the other hand, who's actually a really fun character. She's kind of a tomboy and goes to a different school than the rest of the characters. The thing I really like about her is her assertive personality and how that actually kind of makes for a cute dynamic with Tsuna. I kind of wish she was Tsuna's real main love interest over Kyoko, but whatever. We finally reached the destination of our other goat, Dino, a former student of Reborn and mafia boss in his own right. He's this cool guy who fights with a whip as long as his fellow mafia members are around. If they're not around, Dino's kinda useless, I'm not gonna lie. His purpose in the story is essentially to serve as a benchmark for the type of person that Tsuna could become in the future if he keeps working with Reborn. Which is probably why I like him so much, because he's just Tsuna but cooler outside the clumsiness, which I find endearing, kind of like how Tsuna being weak I find kinda endearing. We then get to Bianchi, Gokudera's older sister. She cooks so badly she made it into her fighting style. Also, she's really obsessed with Reborn. Yeah, that's about it. Her only other running gag is the fact that she traumatized Gokudera so much for her cooking that he can't even stand to look at her in the face. Then we get to Futa, who has the ability to perfectly rank anybody's abilities. Again, that's about it, just okay. Last and certainly least is Dr. Schammel. He's one of those horny characters in manga, which sometimes characters like that can be okay if there's a little more to them than the horniness, but Schammel is not a case of that, to be honest. At least so far, he's just horny and weird. At least his ability to summon mosquitoes with weird diseases is cool. But yeah, that's all the characters, and while I kinda ran out of steam talking about some of them, I still sort of like most of them, which I think is because of the daily life arc's major strength, that being its mundanity. Like, yeah, a lot of super interesting battle stuff hasn't taken place yet, but I think seeing events like these characters just having a party, a random snowball fight, adventures in the forest, taking a vacation, all did enough to get me invested in these characters. Seeing them be happy and carefree makes it more impactful when they deal with real tragedy and danger. The vital daily life that gives the extraordinary life more stakes and meaning. But is the shift of battle's shonen tone and structure even good? Well, we'll find that out next time, as we enter the Katekyo gang arc with Mukuro Rokudo. Hope to see you soon with that, but until then, see you in another review where I'm hopefully just as positive.